See family, how y'all doing? Welcome to
Yeah.
another episode of Chill with Chill.
hmm
What's going on, Chill Town? How you
Hey,
living?
hey, man,
Saturday
living
treating
good,
you?
yo. Living good, man. A little warm out today, so
Oh yeah.
I got my towel and I got the air conditioner rocking a little bit. So
Uh,
it's a little muggy out today, but I'm rocking. I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's do it.
okay, yeah. We haven't got that far yet up here in Portland. It's still modest 80 degrees, 85. So I'm chilling right now. ducking those triple digits down in California,
80 a little different in South Florida than it is in in other parts of the country. It's a little bit
Right.
different, but I can appreciate warm though. I can
Yeah.
definitely appreciate warm, so it ain't
Yeah,
no
that
big deal.
that humidity ain't no joke.
Yeah.
Speaking of South Florida though,
hmm
I know we're gonna have to do a little draft recap real quick, do a touch up. So
Yep.
speaking of South Florida, I'm big on the Miami Heat pick. That was such a Miami pick. Like
Yeah.
to not
hmm
waste that 18th pick and get a
hmm
guy that's a seasoned vet compared to a lot of guys in the draft.
Word.
So how do you feel about Jaime?
He looks like he looks like the Miami mold. Exactly what the Miami Heat are looking for. He looks like the type of dude who is unsuspected, undetected, and the next thing we know, in like 2 years, he's going to be like a 17-6 guy, a great
Mm,
rotation guy that they're going to develop into. Like, where'd this guy come from? Well, he always was good. He played 4 years at UCLA. Well, I believe he was on the All League team, and he's that grit. He looks like he's got that Miami Heat grit. He can knock down open shots. Not only can he knock down open shots, tough as nails, and playing at UCLA for 4 years, which I'm always a big fan of guys going to school, and not just
mm-hmm.
going to school, but staying in school. And he played 4 years of college, so he comes with an adult about him. So there is no, even though he is young, there is a maturity about him that I really like. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised that the Miami Heat basically stole him. I'm not surprised about that. And
Right.
I look for him to be really good in their rotation. I think he's going to help them out a lot, considering what they're trying to do. I don't think that Pat Riley is big on this Damian Lillard trade. I think that
Mm,
he's considering what he has, and I think he feels like they're close. And Pat Riley is a very traditional type of dude, and building his unit through the draft and developing players, which is what they've been doing with the Miami Heat, right? Which is what they've been doing, and it's been working. I mean, they've been in the NBA championship all of these years, and right, they've been in the NBA championship this whole time. Hold on for a second, Big Ox. I apologize.
oh, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So yeah, we're gonna keep going with the draft. Y'all get in the chat. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about the draft. I see what y'all talking about right now. We definitely are gonna get to that. We know last night was very exciting for everybody, and we'll definitely talk about that. Let's just let some more people get in here, and then we'll get to that. Y'all relax. Give me a second. I see you, King 90. We gonna talk about it, brother. Definitely
My
gonna
fault,
talk
my fault,
about
my fault, Big Ox. I apologize. So, like I was saying, right? Like I was saying, I had a little bit of technical difficulties over here.
it. Hmm.
But anyway, like I was talking about with the Miami Heat. So when you're talking about a guy like when you talk about a guy like Vasquez, he just looks like the mold of the Miami Heat. And I think he's going to be really good for them. I do. And I don't think that Pat Riley is interested in all the Damian Lillard talk. And the reason why I don't think he's interested in that is because the way Pat Riley does things, if you look at that group, they built that group through the draft, right? They ended up bagging Jimmy Butler in free agency. But for the most part, they built that group through the draft. They ended up getting Kyle Lowry in a trade, but that group is built from the ground up. So I think that's who Pat Riley is in the traditional sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's who Pat Riley is in the traditional sense. And I don't think he's really interested in, don't get me wrong, he did end up getting LeBron James. And
Right, right.
he did end up getting LeBron James and Chris Bosh. But I don't think he wants to go back down that road. I think
Mm-hmm.
the way he is doing things now, I think that he wants to continue doing that. And it's clear that it's working. Big Ox, we get so wrapped up in, if you ain't winning the NBA championship, you're losing. Right? You are. But on the other hand, there's a lot of stuff that needs to go your way. And the way Pat Riley is building this unit, man, The way Pat Riley is building this unit, they're clearly a championship contender. Been in the NBA Finals twice in the last 4 years. Been in the Eastern Conference Championship 3 times in the last 4 years. So if this is any other group, if this is any other team, we're not saying that they're not close. We're like, yo, these guys are really close. So with the Miami Heat, I don't think that it's any different. To be honest with you, if this Damian Lillard trade was going to happen, I think it would have happened already. To be honest with you, Big Ox.
Well, this is my thing about teams like Miami.
Yeah.
As opposed to these quote unquote super teams. When you have a team like Miami, if you lose a key piece like they did with Tyler Hero, they still have a team, so they can still compete and go on. If you got one of these super teams, you lose one of those main guys, your team, for lack of a better term, is screwed.
Yeah, it is.
You know, so I mean, I'm with the building your team, and if the stars come, they come. If not, we're still going to play basketball. So I like that.
And when you building your unit like that, like you said with the team, you know, that camaraderie that we have, not just that camaraderie that we have, that togetherness that we have, that stuff goes a long way, man. And
certainly,
when you finally get there, right? When you finally get there, and like you just said, Tyler Hero goes down or Bam goes down for a little bit, we still got our unit. Max Strus goes down. Now, of course, we don't want to lose a key piece, but there is that next man up mentality in Miami.
Yeah. So besides that that pick from Miami, what else? I'm not saying that shocked you, but what shocked you about the draft? What, like, who anybody that got picked a little high, got picked a little low? As far as that, what do you think in the draft?
I was really surprised that Cam Whitmore dropped as far as he did. I thought he was going to be a lottery pick. And when I say a lottery pick, Big Ox, I mean a top 5 pick. He was the most pro-ready physically that I had seen of all the prospects. 6'7", 235. He just had a grown-up look about him, right? He had a grown-up look about him. And in the process of him having that grown-up look about him, he looked pro-ready. His body, his ability to get to the basket, shoot the long ball, be physical. He looked like he was ready for the pro game. Well, the logic on him was that he didn't interview well, which I think that a lot of that stuff is overrated, to be honest with you. Don't get me wrong. Right. I can appreciate if a guy rubs you the wrong way or a guy is just not very articulate and stuff like that. But I don't think that that's going to determine whether or not I take a guy. What I mean when I say that is I watched, I believe his name was Anthony. I forgot what his name was. He was the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, and he's got a speech impediment. And one of the biggest problems they had with him through the draft process was they looked at him like he wasn't smart enough. Meanwhile, the dude went to the University of Virginia. He studied, I believe, agriculture. So he was clearly a smart dude, but the problem that we were having with him was he didn't interview well. He turned out to be a pretty good quarterback. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to overrate these interviews, man. Now, I also heard that Cam Whitmore had an issue with his knee, right? And then having an issue with his knee, I think he's got to get an operation. So that might have scared off teams, kind of like what happened with MPJ with his back. Right. That may have scared off teams.
Do we know what it was with his knee, though? Was it something light? Was it just a quick
It sounded like it was something light. It doesn't sound like it was something major or structural, like an ACL or an MCL, something like that. No, it didn't sound like that. But it sounded like it was something light, but it kind of scared teams off. In the process of it scaring teams off, he drops to 20, which I think Houston won the draft, to be honest with you, because there was no way that at 20 they saw him still on the board thinking he was going to be there. There's no way that they thought that. So I'm sure when they saw him, they was like, this guy was supposed to go in the top 5. What's going on? Why is he still on the board? And we're not passing on him at 20. I was surprised that the Lakers passed on him at 20, to be honest with you.
That was terrible.
I was surprised that the Lakers passed on him too. I was really surprised about that. But another guy who, not necessarily low, but kid from Santa Clara. I cannot say his name correctly.
Right, I know you're talking about.
I cannot say his name correctly.
One of the Warriors, right?
Yes, and you know who he reminds me of? And a lot of people go, "Yo, Ty Jerome sucks." Well, a lot of people forget that Ty Jerome, when he was coming out of college from the University of Virginia, he was an integral part of what they were doing there. They won a national championship, and he was huge in what they were doing. This guy looks like he could be a better version of Ty Jerome, knockdown shooter, a distributor, a guy who can make plays for other people. And In the process of doing that, he could be a really good fit for the Warriors. I think that I think teams passing on him. I think some teams made a mistake passing on him.
He played 4 years too, right? He
Yes,
played
he did.
two at Santa Clara and then 2 before at somewhere else before.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. He looks like he's ready to go. So it was there anybody that shocked you by going too high?
Apparently, I don't love the kid Bilal. I ain't saying that. I'm not saying that he's not going to be a really good pro. I just don't love him. That's really what it is in a nutshell. And I see guys that are, especially in college, right? I see guys that have the potential. And not only do they have the potential, they have the wherewithal to be good pros. Big Ox, I never thought that I would be alive to see the day that the college player of the year is told to go back to school. That's the big kid from Purdue. The reigning college player of the year and the leading rebounder in the country does not get drafted. And first team All-American does not get drafted. So, I mean, I know we're in a different NBA, and I know that the NBA, the game has changed, and the big guy has evolved into more of a jump shooting, ball handling, not playing on the block a little bit, not playing on the block as much, even though we still need that. That guy is a dying breed. With that being said, there are big guys who do the things that you need in order for you guys to win. So Oscar Tshiebwe, I mean, he led the country in rebounding. He was the national player of the year last year. He only played 2 years at Kentucky, and he's a third all-time leading rebounder. Yo, there's a spot on my crew for him. If there's a spot on your crew for Marcus Smart, there's a spot on your crew for him, because he gives me Ben Wallace vibes set.
I believe he signed a 2-way to Indiana.
Signed a 2-way with Indiana, which is, I think that's a steal, to be honest with you, Big Ox. I think that's a steal, him playing for Indiana, because he's a dirty work guy that they need. He's a dirty work guy that they need, that they don't have, and I think he's going to help them 100%. 100%. I'm interested to see what happens with Timmy, too. From Gonzaga.
Right.
Really interested to see what happens with him.
I don't know about Timmy in the NBA. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Timmy in the league.
This game may not translate.
Yeah, but we'll see. Let me get to a couple of super chats just so that they don't pile up on us. Everybody out there, super chats are a priority. So let's get to it. First one of the day from Lonnie Williams. Chill. Who do you think will be top 5 players in 4 to 5 years, and anyone we should look out for a big jump, possible future MVP type player?
Number one, I think Anthony Edwards is going to be in the conversation in the next 4 to 5 years. I think he's going to be, in the next 2 years, we're going to have a serious conversation about him being the best 2 guard in the game. Even though we got Donovan Mitchell, we got Book, right? We got guys like that. Anthony Edwards is going to be very much not in the conversation, because he's a 2-way player. He plays on the other side of the basketball. I hate that term, Ox, but I mean, that's where we are today.
Yeah.
Right. That's where we are today. And it's a premium for a guy to play on the defensive side of the basketball. So I think Anthony Edwards is a guy who could very well be a top 5 player in the next 4 to 5 years. Another guy who, when I said Jason Tatum, like, a lot of people laughed at me and they told me that, he'll never be better than Giannis. He'll never be better than Luka, when he had a career year this year and his game is still on the ascend. I think that we've probably seen who he is, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to have better seasons. And as of right now, he's right outside the top 5. But I think in the next 4 or 5 years, I think he's going to be in this, not just in the conversation. He's going to be that, like, 2, 3, 4, maybe even the best player in the league. I think Joker is still going to be in that conversation. I'm not sure if Embiid's going to be in that conversation, because I don't think he's going to hold up that much longer, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to hold up that much longer. I think Giannis is still going to be around during that time. So Giannis, Tatum, I think Anthony Edwards is going to be in the conversation. Joker, Luka. I think Curry's going to be gone. James is going to be gone. I think we got to have a conversation about Shea too. I do. I think we're gonna have a conversation about him. I don't think he's a one hit. I don't think he's a one hit wonder. I think he's a guy that he could very well be around for a while. And this year, I think stamps him as like when you make first team All NBA. I always felt like being an All Pro, being a first team All Pro, that suggests to people that I'm coming.
Right.
When you make it again, what you do is you let it be known I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So you better get used to seeing me. And I think that's the case with Shai. I think he's one of those guys that you could very well after this season, you could very well see him around for a while. But the jury's still out on him.
What about going back real quick just to touch on it, Giannis. So what happens to Giannis when he loses a step or loses a bit of explosion? If he loses a little speed, loses a little explosion, what does that do to his game? How does he stay in that top?
That's what has to, and that process is now, Big Ox, because as of right now, he's just bigger, faster, and stronger than anybody, right? Mm-hmm. And running past everybody, doing all of that good stuff in order for them to win. But if he's working on the stuff necessary, so when he does start to slow down, right? When Father Time does catch up to him and he can't run as fast as he used to, if that mid-range can get more consistent, not only if that mid-range can get more consistent, if that post game can get more consistent, because you got a guy in Giannis at 6'10", 6'11". If he were to develop an even more lethal post game, that will extend his career.
Right.
If he can knock down the mid range a little bit more consistently, that would extend his career. James is a prime example of that, because if you remember James, Jason Kidd, Ray Allen, guys like this recognized that this is the way that the game was going. James expanded his long ball game. Jason Kidd expanded his long ball game. These are the things that help these guys stay around, because Jason Kidd was one of those guys who a lot of his stuff was on athleticism and speed. He was one of the, don't get me wrong, if he wasn't the smartest guy in the game, he was one of the smartest guys in the game. But I mean, if I still can't do the other things, which way the game's turning, it's really not going to matter. So with a guy like Giannis, I think that's what he should be working on now. That stuff. So when I can't run as fast as I used to, when injuries start to catch up to me, and I don't jump as high as I used to, right? So when that stuff happens, I got this stuff to fall back on, which will extend my career. Jordan did that. Jordan wasn't really that. Jordan started slowing down. He couldn't jump as high as he used to. Mm-hmm. Jordan put a 17-foot fall away in his game, and that extended his career, and it made him even better. So I think that's something that Giannis. I think that's something that Giannis could do, and I think that's something that he should be working on now.
Okay, let me see this next one. Ox, will Holmes help the Mavs? Is he cooked? Happy with Omax plus DL. Okay. So Omax, that's the kid from Marquette, right?
Mm-hmm.
And DL, that's the big fella.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lively, right?
Mm-hmm. And you talking about Holmes, who, by the way,
from us to the Mavs. Real quick, y'all. And I'll say something to everybody. I really appreciate the super chats. Y'all try to help me out a little bit, though. You know what I'm saying, with the punctuation and the grammar and whatnot. Because sometimes I'm reading, I don't really know where to start, where to stop. But I definitely appreciate the super chats. Y'all keep them coming. But if y'all not gonna give me the best grammar and punctuation, y'all gotta bear with me.
Yeah.
Okay. So Holmes to the Mavs. I think Holmes helps any team that plays him. Any team that puts him in the game, any coach that puts him in the game, he's gonna produce. I love Holmes' energy, tenacity. He actually has a sneaky good touch around the rim too. So,
Big Ox, I'm on record that last year during the trade deadline that I was thinking Pat Riley, pick up the telephone and call up Sacramento, ask for Rashad Holmes, because he's wasting away on that bench out there in Sacramento. Straight wasting away on that bench. He's the consummate dirty work guy. He'd be perfect for what you guys are doing. So now for him in Dallas, that's another dirty work guy that you don't have. Big Ox, if you know me, you know I'm a big fan of dirty work guys. You know that I dig the dirty work guy. And Rashad Holmes is one of them guys that he is. I think he'd be great in Denver too. I think he would be great in Denver, Dallas, depending on how Jason Kidd uses him.
Right.
Because I've watched his game. He actually does. Since you mentioned that, he actually does have a really good touch around the rim. Quick jump hooks with both hands, by the way. Not just with the right hand, with both hands. He's got really good touch around the rim. With putbacks also. That stuff matters, man. Right? Yeah. That stuff matters when you got a big guy. Now, as far as Max, don't get me wrong. I think he's raw, right? I think he's raw, and I think he's a guy who, when I watch him, I think to myself, I can't really put my finger on who he is yet, but I will tell you this. The athlete that he is, the way Jason Kidd is going to run that system where Kyrie Irving and Luka playing as fast as they do, I think that's going to really help his game. Now, he could very well turn himself also into a D&3 guy because the way he gets out in the open floor, if he could be that defender that they need, oh, man, that helps them out even more because now you got Holmes, plus you got him. Now you're building that back up. You're actually building back up what you lost when you lost Finney-Smith, right? When you lost Bullock. So I think this helps them out a lot. 100% it does.
Definitely. What about the big fella? Did you see much at Lively?
I'm not saying that I don't love him, Big Ox, because I do. I do love him, but he looks to me to be more of a he looks to be more of a project more than he is a guy who is going to play right away, right? So the 1 year that he played at Duke, he didn't blow me away. Let me just say that he didn't. I mean, I like him. I do. I do. I love him. I love his potential. But with that being said, I think he's a process. But I will tell you this: he is somebody that they need because they do need a big guy, right? They needed a big guy because I don't think Powell is a starting center, and I don't think Powell is a starting center on a playoff team. I don't think he is. So I think this guy is a project, and if he could step right in and help, that'd be great. I'd be surprised if he did, though.
Yeah. That super chat was brought to you by Invasion Alert 77. Thank you, Invasion Alert. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Let's see. Let me get a couple of guys in here. Rob, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, man?
Breezy, what's good, man? What's good? You there, Breezy?
Yeah, I'm here enjoying the show. Shout out to Big Ox, shout out to Chilltown Hoops.
Fellas, what up?
A lot going on. I was listening to y'all conversation. You know, I'm enjoying the show. And big men that I think the Brooklyn Nets, and I'm bringing this back to Chill. Big men that I think the Brooklyn Nets should be interested in is Holmes, is Thomas Bryant, and Naz Reid. Also, what I wanted to ask Chill, two things. One, Dariq Whitehead is somebody that we got from Duke out of Newark, New Jersey. I heard him in an interview say, yo, I think I'm going to be a star in 2 years. He's 18 years old, an all McDonald American player. And I like his the confidence that he exudes. So I wanted to ask you that. How do you feel about Dariq Whitehead? And the next question, this is an off-the-wall question, but this is kind of because you get to school these young boys and the demographic about basketball. And I just wanted to have you just speak to the audience about what the backboard means to basketball. Because players that know how to kiss the glass, you know what I mean, use the backboard, part of their offense, everything isn't a swish. Yeah, you know, the backboard is there for a reason. You know, I'll be in the park trying to tell these young players that, and they don't want to listen to me, but maybe they listen to you, Chill. So can you just explain to them what the backboard means to basketball?
Well, if you think about the great scorers in the game, they use the glass. Some of the best scorers in the game, Bernard King, Alex English, Tim Duncan. I know this sounds crazy, but Tim Duncan is one of the best scorers in NBA history. He has over 26,000 points. Tim Duncan had a money mid-range game, and his mid-range game was predicated on hitting that backboard. That backboard is not up there it's not up there just to be up there. No, it is not. That backboard is up there for a purpose. There's a reason why there's a square in the middle of it. You hit that square and there's a reason why that square is up there, right? It's not up there for decoration. No, it is not. So there's plenty of guys, Jordan, Bird, Doc, Kyrie Irving, another one, Damian Lillard. These guys use the backboard. It's not. I think a lot of the stuff.
Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is a prime example. Tim Duncan from 17 feet, from 16 feet, would use the backboard. He perfected that shot, 14 feet. He perfected that shot. Rasheed Wallace. These guys perfected that shot. And the reason why they did that was because that was taught to them. The backboard is your friend. And not only is the backboard your friend, not only is the backboard your friend for shooting, it's also your friend. And the rim is your friend when you also shoot. And so when you go to the rim, you could use the rim as a protector when you're on the other side. So when a guy's trying to block your shot, he can get his hand hit in the rim. So you can also do that with the backboard. You could use the backboard as your friend. So when you're going up on the other side, you could use the backboard as a barrier. But a lot of kids, you got to remember too that we live in an age of social media. We live in an age of instant, we live in an age of a lot of things being instant. So if it's not cool to the masses, they immediately throw it away. But I'm a firm believer that what's cool ain't popular, and what's popular ain't cool. But
Dude, thank you for that, Chill. You was talking to him. But what about Dariq Whitehead, man? What you feel about him, Newark, New Jersey?
Well, I don't know much about him, but I do know this. Being from Newark, New Jersey, and being a McDonald's All-American and playing 1 year in school, he's definitely got that Jersey swagger in him. And going over to Brooklyn, I'm not sure that I love him in Brooklyn, and the reason why I say that is because it's right there. Like I would probably I know how influential Jersey could be. I know how influential the tri-state area could be. So it might not be the best fit for him. He might be better off in a situation where he's a little bit further away, and not too much far away, but a little bit further away where he can concentrate a lot more on the game as opposed to him being amongst the bright lights of New York City and Jersey and those influences right there. Now, he might have some people around him that are level-headed that, obviously, I think you said he went to Duke. So he's obviously a smart kid. So with that being said, he's got some level-headed people around him. I'm not sure that I love him in Brooklyn simply because of the scenery. That doesn't mean that his game won't translate, because it sounds like his confidence is through the roof. And I like that about I definitely like that about young kids. Love that.
Thanks, Chuck. I just want to leave off saying hopefully he learned from Zion and John Morant.
Yes.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah. What up?
I want to spare some motivation to these NBA prospects because they get discouraged not going in the first round. Who is your top 5 all-time second-round draft picks and undrafted players?
Right now, I would have to say probably my favorite second-round draft pick would have to be Nikola Jokic. Just based off,
Is he the greatest second-round draft pick ever?
Is Nikola Jokic the greatest second-round draft pick ever? Let's see. Willis Reed was drafted in the second round. Who else am I thinking about? Dennis Rodman was drafted in the second round.
I forgot about Dennis.
Let's see. I'm leaving somebody out. Willis Reed was the Finals MVP, so he was drafted in the second round. Who am I thinking about? I know Dennis Rodman, Willis Reed, and this guy. His name escapes me, and I know it's going to come back. I know it's going to come back to me, but those are the two guys that I remember off the top of my head. Willis Reed was drafted in the second round, and Dennis Rodman was drafted in the second round. So
yeah, I'm tripping on my bad, Rob. I answered that way too quick because y'all know my man is Manu. So
yeah,
that's my guy.
Right, Ginobili was drafted.
Definitely my
in the
favorite
second round also. Yeah, sure. Ginobili was also drafted in the second round.
What are you guys' hobbies during this time, this dead NBA period? What are you guys' hobbies?
Well, I tell you what, man. I do go through a bit of a. I do go through a bit of withdrawal. I do that. No doubt about that. So what I do is I catch up on a lot of old school stuff. I go through a lot of my notes to see stuff that I missed. I track up and coming players, and in the process of me tracking up and coming players, I also track guys that. I didn't know did this. Like, for example, I'll talk a lot about guys like Scottie Pippen. Like, I'll go do some more homework on Scottie Pippen and find out that, Scottie had a 3-year stretch where from 1991 to 1993, them 3 straight years where he was where they was in the NBA championship and winning it, he averaged almost 20 and 10 during that time. In the Eastern Conference Championship and the NBA Finals, he averaged almost 20 and 10. And that's the kind of homework that I do on guys like that and find out, what was he doing in order for them to win like that. So that's one of my hobbies. Also, I work out a lot. So,
so right now, look, Rob, ball is life. Ball is life.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's the NBA might be over, but the WNBA is going strong.
She a baller too, by the way. She is a baller.
That's Jewel Lloyd.
She is a baller. She is a baller. 100%.
Yo, I just want to say I became a fan of the WNBA because I think her name is Nnaji. She always do the Mikal Bridges celebration with the 3-pointer, and they also the New York Liberty play at the Barclays. So the Brooklyn Nets play there. So I'm becoming more and more of a fan of New York Liberty. So I just want to say shout to women's WNBA, shout to women's basketball. They got the fundamentals down pack, and that shooting stroke be looking nice. I ain't gonna cap. So you know what I mean. I like the WNBA. I'm a fan now.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the answer to that question, Rob. So I don't have no off season like that. It's hoop all year round. My big sister was a baller. So I've been growing up around women basketball all my life. All my life. So actually, I'm trying to as soon when we get done, trying to push up to Seattle to catch that Storm game tonight. But that's my thing. I love women's basketball. So. That's just the answer to that question, Rob.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to hold you. I know, you know what I mean.
All right, fellas. All right, fellas.
Love the show, man.
Good to talk to you, no doubt.
So always.
No doubt.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. So you like Jewel Lloyd?
She's nice, yo. Jewel Lloyd is nice. I caught a couple of highlights and then. I watched. I was able to catch half a game. Yeah, she is nice. I like her game. I do like her game. 100%. I dig the chick. Kelsey Klum from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I was watching her in college. She ain't nothing but buckets, man. I think she led the country in scoring. Something crazy like that. She is straight buckets. And Asia Wilson. I was a big fan of Asia Wilson when she was down here. So I was a huge fan of Asia Wilson when she was down in South Carolina when she was in college. So I pay attention to women's basketball. 100% I do.
Love Asia. Big fan. I'm a big fan of Asia Wilson. So back to the super chats though. Jackson Williams, how do you feel about James Nnaji going to the Hornets?
I think he got traded to Detroit. I think they traded him. Yeah, I think they moved on from him to Detroit, and you already know how I feel about James Nnaji. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's a steal in the draft. I was surprised that Boston traded him because I think he'd have been perfect for what they're doing. In fact, he could very well be there. He could very well be their missing piece. Where if they end up moving off of Robert Williams, now you got your young guy, but I don't think they're going to move off Robert Williams because they just signed him to an extension. I mean, don't get me wrong, his contract is very team friendly, but I don't think they're moving off of him. With that being said, I think Nnaji, I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be really good for Detroit. It depends on how Monty Williams uses him, but I think he's going to be really good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It seems like Detroit's stacking up on those big fellas up there. So
they are doing that. Yes, they are, big guy.
See what they do.
Yes, they are.
Another one from Sauce Man. Stephen A. Smith said he'll take JT the first 46 minutes of the game and Larry the last 2 minutes. What's your thoughts? I don't think that's takes as bad as people making it.
Well, are you going off of this season? Because Jason Tatum, I mean, he did get better this year, but he also did a lot of great things last year too. See, if you look at Jason Tatum's career, Jason Tatum has been one of the better clutch players. And since we're on the subject of 46, I did watch Jason Tatum go for 46 in Milwaukee, right? I did watch him do that. I did watch him go for 50 in Game 7, right? Was it Game 7? Yeah, Game 7. I did watch him go for 51, I'm sorry, in Game 7. So Jason Tatum, the whole I'll take Larry Bird in the last 2 minutes, but I'll only take Jason Tatum for 46 minutes. No, if I'm taking Jason Tatum for 46 minutes, I'm going to take him for the whole game. We're going to win or lose. Big Ox, you've been critical of JT because, you know, he's got those saucer eyes. I think that's going to change, though, Ox. I do. I think I think that's going to change. I'm taking JT the whole time.
I hope so. I think it just goes from him transitioning to being like, oh, I'm the young fella in the league. I'm trying to prove myself, and then maybe getting punched in the mouth a couple times,
Right.
And then kind of now it's like, well, I'm here. People need to respect me. But
Right.
now I think he's starting to evolve into that. No, I'm supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like I am the man. And then just speaking on that though, we saw him go at Brown rookie year.
Yes, he did.
Dunked on Brown, bumped him. I think that was a big mistake, but I mean, we saw what happened right after that. He probably should have left Brown alone, but that shows he's not, he's not here just to be here.
And one more thing about that, to be quite honest with you, Big Ox, I don't want Larry Bird for 2 minutes. I want Larry Bird the whole game.
I was going to say that for the record.
Well, no,
just for the record, so that I'm on record saying
what are we doing?
Give me Larry for 40 minutes.
Give me Larry Bird the whole game. You're not just going to give me Bird for 2 minutes. That's like giving me a quarter plate of food. You got this big buffet, and I'm only going to take this. You only get this little bit, but I'm going to give you this much. No, you either give me the whole plate or I don't want nothing. So I don't want Larry Bird for 2 minutes. No, I want Larry Bird the whole game. Thank you very much.
Right. So, Chitchat, I know the people are begging, they're wiggling in their seat, they're itching for us to talk about it. So let's just go ahead and give them what they want.
What's going on?
So, last night, our man, big legend of winning, he had some things to say. I guess about KD from a couple of episodes ago that got tweeted. It went viral in Twitter world.
Yeah,
he did a Twitter space. I'm not familiar with the Twitter spaces. I've never been a part of them. I think it's kind of like the old school Clubhouse. I'm not 100% sure.
Me neither.
But apparently Kevin Durant jumped in there, and him and Lowe had some words. Are you aware of this? Have you?
I heard a bit of it, and to be honest with you, I think it's great. And the reason why I think it's great is because this is what social media. This is not just social media. This is what the NBA. This is what this is turned into. A lot of people forget that this is entertainment more than anything. Right. A lot of people forget that this is what people want. This is not beef. This is not trouble or anything like that. Again, trouble is when I gotta watch my back when I go out. That's trouble. I don't have to watch my back when I go out. Right,
it's show business.
Right, I don't gotta watch my back when I go out. I talk basketball. Right, I ain't stealing money from nobody. Right, I'm not doing anything like that. We talk basketball, and in this particular situation, I think Lowe let him off the hook. I do. I think Lowe let him off the hook with. I thought the conversation was good, but I thought Lowe let him off the hook with him saying he agreed with how we analyze the game and how we analyze the game. If we analyze the game, I'm just gonna be candid with you, Big Ox. If we analyze the game whack as you know what, if we analyze the game whack as you know what, we bring in team aspect. Well, you bring in team aspect too. If you didn't bring in team aspect, why'd you leave Oklahoma City? You left Oklahoma City because you saw what they were doing in Golden State as a unit, and you wanted to be a part of that. If you didn't, you would have stayed in Oklahoma City and continued doing what you were doing. That's number one. Number two, for you to say, is he good or is he not? Well, Kevin, you know for a fact that it's not that simple, because what you insinuating, is he good or is he not, that all of you guys are on the same level. There's a reason why we talk about all of these players in a different way. And the reason why we talk about all these players in a different way, because all of you guys are different. It's not just, is he good or is he good? We don't just say, was Kobe good? Was Jordan good? Was Jabbar good? No, there's a reason why we say this guy was better than this guy. There's a reason why we say this guy was better than this guy. And if you didn't care about team success, you wouldn't have went to Oklahoma. You wouldn't have went to Golden State to win. That's why you went to Oklahoma City to win. And if you didn't care about being just quote unquote good, you wouldn't have left Golden State. You would have stayed there and continued with the team success. So you're somewhat of a walking contradiction. You don't know which side of the fence that you want to be on. Do you want to be good and not be talked about like the all-time greats? Or do you want to be talked about like the all-time greats and just be good? Which one is it, KD?
Even further than that, too, I think I think playing a role that you don't care what people have to say is he's showed time and time again that he definitely cares. I mean, with the burner accounts, even getting on the Twitter space with Low, it shows that you want to defend yourself and you got the right to defend yourself. But
Yes,
my
you
thing
do.
is don't pretend like you don't care when you do, because it's a natural human emotion. There's nothing wrong with being human. And that's what I
Right.
think a lot of times we forget is that these guys are humans. They're very rich
Right.
humans. They're
Mhm.
very otherworldly, if you will, because we see what they
Right.
can do on the basketball court. I don't like when I feel like it's a cop out. It's a plea when guys in the NBA, talking about KD, but other guys specifically have done it too, where they say, "Oh, well, you guys are on podcasts. You guys are in the media. You guys suck the basketball, so that's why you're doing this. That's why you can't talk." I don't like that, because it's like, obviously I'm not as good as you, Kevin. If I was as good as you, I'd be up there with you listening to other people talk about me too.
Right.
So and I'm not embarrassed to not be as good as Kevin Durant in basketball. Right. So I feel like trying to shame the media. I don't like that. I didn't even like it when Jalen Rose did it to Skip Bayless. I didn't even like it then. I don't like that those comebacks as far as like, you suck, so you can't talk.
Well. First and foremost, you care. If
Right.
you didn't care, you wouldn't say anything. And the reason why you care is because, like you just said, you're human. But if we were talking about you in a different way, you wouldn't care. So, for example, KD, you being a 2-time Finals MVP, a league MVP, over 25,000 points in your career, almost over 25,000 points in your career, being the first team All-NBA. If we just talked about you like that, you wouldn't have anything to say to the media because it would be all love. But the fact that you did what you did when you left Oklahoma City and went to Golden State, which, if we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it. It was a sucker move. It was straight sucker. It was a sucker move for you to do that. But if we only talked about you and you being great, you wouldn't say anything because you care about that. But the fact that the fact that we talk about you the way we do because of what you did, now all of a sudden you don't care about that. Yes, you do, because if we talked about you like we talked about Kobe Bryant, if we talked about you like we talked about Michael Jordan or LeBron James or Jabbar or Larry Bird, if we talked about you like that, we wouldn't hear a peep out of you. All we would see is your chest out and your chin up high. But the fact that we talk about you the way we talk about you because of what you did, by the way, because of what you did rubs you the wrong way. And that, again, you're a walking contradiction. You want to be loved, but you want to be your own man. You want to be loved, but you want people to talk about you a certain way. Get on one side of the fence, my man. Either you this way or you that way.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear what a couple of the guys got to say about.
Damn, Chill, you took my words right out of the comments. Man, what's up, man?
Go ahead, PSP. Hold on. Let PSP get it off.
No, it's all good, Bob.
Okay.
Let Leaf go.
Leaf, you got it.
Look, man, I don't know how many times, I don't know how long it's going to take for y'all to realize that Kevin Durant is B.I.H. made. Like, I'm saying that's straight out my mouth. I ain't holding no punches, man. Listen, you know what you did. You know, it was a sucker move. Let's like Shilltown said. And I go as far as adding more explicitives to that. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, I ain't gonna do that.
We in
a
family show. Family show.
And you know, I'm known for maxing out, man. Like, so listen, man. You know how these players could easily piss me off. You know what I'm saying? And I got one rule when I'm going about my players and everything. Don't piss me off. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do no sucker shit. You know. So here's the thing, but the thing about it is like if you feel the need to defend yourself, man, like I think Shaq said it on his documentary, Chill, on the HBO documentary. If I'm not the best of this, if I'm not the absolute number one, don't say my name. If I'm not the most dominant, don't say my name. If I ain't the greatest, don't say my name. If I ain't better than him, don't say my name. So I think that kind of stands clear. I mean, Kevin Durant, he kind of wanted to have his cake and eat it too. You know what I'm saying? He one of them individuals. You know what I'm saying? Like we all knew this. We all knew this years ago. I don't even know why this is even a discussion, man. Like this is one of those. The one thing I can say about LeBron is LeBron ain't defending nothing that he did. He ain't defending going to Miami. He ain't defending walking out and going back to Cleveland. He ain't defending walking out and going to LA. He ain't defending
Leaf,
that.
have you never wanted to be embraced, just be loved by the people?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Okay.
We all do. I don't know if that's true, Leaf, because we all do, but what I'm not going to do is what's not going to happen is I can't just have my cake and eat it too. I can't. It sounds to me like Kevin Durant wants to be unconditionally loved. No matter what I do, I want you guys to love me, even if you don't agree with what I did. What you did when you left to go to Golden State, that was a sucker move. 100% it was a sucker move. And you can't expect people who are actual basketball people to stand up and go, that was great, KD. We can appreciate what you did. Considering what just happened, right? Considering what had just happened, with you dudes having them in the chokehold and then turning around and you jumping on that crew. That was a sucker move. And then on top of that, not staying there. And then on top of that, leaving there. That made it even worse. Like if you would have left there and you would have went back to Oklahoma City, I think that the blow would have been lessened. But the fact that you left there, then went and got on another crew, it made it even worse for you.
Championship before you.
It made it even worse for you. It just did.
Even worse. And and the thing about it, by the way, context, I'm not a villain. I'm not evil, man. I like to think of myself as a teacher. You know, because a lot of people is misguided when it comes to everything that they seeing from these players, man. Listen, they acknowledge everything that's said about them or with the stats and all of this, but they don't acknowledge what they truly, truly weak at. I do. And I do it all the time. I remind Chilltown that LeBron James is not who he think he is. I remind everybody that LeBron James ain't who you think he is. The same way I do Kevin Durant the same exact way. And that's all what Lowe was trying to do. I don't approve of Lowe theme at all, man, because I think he's out there eradicate the old era. But he was at 100% right. Everything that he said on the short about Kevin Durant is 100% facts. They were like, we don't blame Kevin Durant when he goes down in shot percentage or when he's not affecting the game on the defense end. We don't blame Kevin Durant when he's nerfed from 30-something points to 20-something points. We don't blame him for that. Everybody else get that plug, but then we don't blame him for that. And by the way, Chilltown, I'm gonna let you know something for real. Jason Tatum will never be the best player in the league.
Yes, you said that 2 years ago that he would never be in the league MVP conversation, and he in it now. So that's not true.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying it. There was plenty of people who told me 2 years ago that he wouldn't be in the league MVP conversation, and he was in the top 5 in league MVP votes this year. So he's going to be in the next 2 years. We're going to be talking about this dude as the best player in the game. I said it 2 years ago, and I'm standing on it. 100%. I'm standing on it.
I'm saying that we won't.
Yes, we will.
No, we won't.
Time will tell, fellas. Time will tell. PSP, what's the deal, brother?
I think what Chill said, and again, he took my exact words. KD is a walking contradiction. Look, his move by leaving OKC for Golden State, without question, the weakest move in my opinion. If he wanted to leave OKC, that's fine. That's his prerogative. But the fact of the matter is you went to Golden State, went to 2 finals, won a championship, established a winning culture long before you were there. That was a weak move, in my opinion. The problem with KD, he wants the praise. And again, Chilltown, you broke this down on TikTok. Athletes, they always want validation. I don't care what anybody says. They want that validation, and KD wants that validation. KD wants to be viewed like LeBron, like the all-time greats. But we've seen you since your departure from Golden State. You went to Brooklyn. Okay, you wanted to be with Kyrie and James Harden. You wanted to prove people that you the man. Couldn't even get past the conference semifinals. And then you go to Phoenix. Couldn't even get past the conference semifinals. No shame because of Denver and the Nuggets. But the problem is with KD, he's just too sensitive. He cares. He pays too much attention to what's being said about him. As Bob explained it, the burner accounts, the social media, that's just who he is. KD doesn't mind giving the praise, but can't handle the criticism and the heat. That's been his problem throughout his career. And I feel like too many times the media has given him a pass, because if this were LeBron or any other player, we would hold him more accountable. But with KD, I just feel like it's just a pass, in my opinion.
Definitely not a pass. Definitely not a pass though, because we hold his feet to the fire as we should. 100%.
I just feel like too many people are not. I mean, look at
do.
Stephen A. Smith. I feel like Stephen A. Smith, times he gives him a pass and he still considers KD the best player in the NBA.
Right.
But why not Giannis? Why not Jokic? Why not other players who've done that, who've done more as the number one option than KD?
Right.
And that's my problem with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Didn't want to harp on the draft. Bobby, you already know how I feel about that draft, man. Listen, the top 5 picks, man, they all on the clock to me still.
Leaf, why is Jason Tatum not gonna ever be the best player in the game? What logic can you give me to suggest that he won't be?
What logic can I give you that he won't be? All right, let's be honest.
Oh my God,
they really want me to go here, man. Listen,
let's hear it. What about him?
I've been on Front Street saying Boston got 2 Scottie Pippins. That's one. Because here's the thing. In terms of initiating offense, this is probably listen, everything that we're seeing from him, this career year that you always harped on, this is the best he can do. This is the best he's going to do. He don't hold a candle to what Joker, Giannis, Luka, and all of them dudes, man, is doing. He don't hold a candle to them. And the thing is, everything that they're doing across the board is barely just good enough. I mean, even though Denver won a championship, even though Giannis won a championship, but Dallas, when you think of Joel, when you think of Luka, to me, I don't think he hold a candle to them. I just don't. Like my thing, and the reason being is because
what's the separator? What's the separator? What separates him from Giannis? What separates him from Joker?
The separator is one, their advantages, and two, their positive.
They're advanced in what?
Their advantages on the court and their positive abilities to initiate offense better than Jason Tatum can.
Okay.
The thing is, Jason Tatum has a lot of talent. Listen, you've been on Front Street saying it before. He's basically Tracy McGrady, what Tracy McGrady should have been, what Paul George should have been. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think those are the max outs. So in terms of him getting better as a passer, getting better as a defender, those are all positives. But it's still not, but to me, I think it's still something, I don't know, man. Like, it's something that really bothers me about him and Devin Booker. I don't know if they got too much light skin in them. I don't know what it is.
Well, see, that's not a good enough reason. Hold on, Peace. Hold on, Sports, because that's not a good enough reason. The fact that there's something that bothers you, because again, he did have a career year. His scoring has gone up every year since he's been in the league, and I doubt that it's going to go up any higher, but it could very well go up any higher. He has improved as a defender. Not only has he improved as a defender, he has improved as a playmaker. And his team, if we're talking about the Boston Celtics and him not rolling his ankle, let's just say for the sake of argument, he doesn't roll his ankle and they end up winning that game. I think they beat Denver in the finals. What kind of conversation are we having about Jason Tatum right now? I think we're having a completely different conversation about Jason Tatum right now, but we're not. And this is the logic that you need a lot of things to go your way in order to win it. You need a lot of stuff to go your way in order to win it. It's not just being good. Being good isn't good enough. But when you talk about a guy who's on an ascension, which Jason Tatum has been on an ascension, as opposed to guys like Giannis, who I still think is the best player in the league, but he's probably leveled out. Same thing with Joker. I don't think it gets much better with Joker. I think he's leveled out. I still think that there's more with Jason Tatum, which is why what I said 2 years ago when I said that I felt like he would be in the conversation for league MVP, which is why he finished 4th this year in league MVP votes. And because we're on an ascension, that's going to go up. And because that's going to go up, I feel like he's going to be in the conversation as the best player in the game at some point real soon.
I think Giannis and Jokic. I think Giannis.
Real quick, bro. Get this last one off. We got to move on. We got a lot of new guys in the lobby that we got to get to.
One more point to chill, man. I think Giannis and Joker are parallel on the same path and the same trajectory as far as like where they're going. Because only thing that's going to get better is their ability to control games within the team aspect, and because they proved they've been great on the finals level. They proved they've been great on the MVP level most of the time. It's 2 MVPs. A finals MVP for both of them, and two of the last 3 MVPs are champions. 2 of the last 3 MVPs are champions, and they could say that. The thing with Jason Tatum is something. I don't know. I can't really explain it too much, man. But it's something that's really bothering me, man. Like chill time. I don't know if it's the Celtics. I don't know if
that's what it is. If we're gonna call it what it is, that's what it is, Big Ox. It's the Celtics. Because if he played for the Lakers, it would probably be the same thing. You know, as you would call them, Leaf, those trust fund babies. That's basically what he is.
You can't say that about Justin Tatum.
It's cool. It's cool if you feel like that. Leaf is the dude in school. You know, the dude that comes to school in the BMW that got the nice clothes. Leaf don't like that dude. Even though that dude, he one of us. He real cool, but Leaf don't like the fact that he get dropped off because his father did very well and he drops him off in a Porsche. Leaf can't stand that dude because he ain't grow up in
the right move.
Because he ain't grow up in Brownsville. He ain't grow up in East New York. That's why Leaf don't dig him, and it's fine. I can dig that.
I'm not as subjective as you think I am, man. Like, listen, you'll see everything that come to fruition. Everything that I told you about Boston is 100% true from the first day we met. Everything.
We'll see. We got to get moving, fellas.
They're gonna slip and fall and bump their lip.
Stop disrespecting Scottie Pippen, bro.
Yeah, they both. No, therefore they're not number ones. They don't.
Good talk to you, brother.
Go check out my podcast, Bob. Chill. If you want to hop on the podcast anytime, let me know. And also, I want to hear what y'all gonna have to say about Mariah Mills. She got a tattoo of Zion's name on her face.
My god!
Oh man, why'd you bring that broad up? Real quick before you do go PSP, let me say something real quick to the community. The light skinned comments that Leaf Diggy made were comments by Leaf Diggy and Leaf Diggy alone. The players,
represent us.
The players choice family. We love our light skinned brothers.
No, they do not represent us. No, my brother light skinned, so they do not represent us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So we can stay on it real quick. Let me grab a couple of these guys down here that we haven't heard from too much before. My man Jewy.
Yep.
That's how I say it, bro.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Yep.
Jewy, okay. I hope you ain't driving that truck.
Hey,
right
Jewy.
now.
Hey, listen, Jewy. Hey, listen,
yes,
man.
Sir.
We ain't trying to get you in no trouble with the supervisor now. Okay, we don't want no nonsense.
Nah, y'all good.
We don't want no nonsense. So
we not moving right. We not moving right now, so we good.
Okay, so we don't want no problem. We don't want no problem with the supervisor. Get my man in no trouble, no paperwork.
No,
we don't want that.
How y'all doing? Y'all good though?
Good, we good.
We got a GOAT member, Avion Plumber
in the house. What up, babe?
Let me shout out Heremius MR, IDWC, and Dorian Clayton as well as our GOAT members. If you want to become a GOAT member, just click on that link. Avion, what's up, bro?
What's up, bro? Like always, I appreciate the show and everything like that.
My man, your
mic real staticky. Yeah. That's Avion.
All right, let me finish it real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your mic real static. What you got, Jewy?
No, I really just wanted to talk about the Blazers.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all don't want to talk about them, that's cool. I'll move on.
Let's get on them as a matter of fact.
So I think we got different. I think we got different sides of this argument. So with the Blazers, though, when I look at Damian Lillard, in my estimation, is about a top 55, 65 player all the time. So when you take that into account, can you justify really moving off of Dame to bring in a guy who you hope can be what Dame already showed you that he is? Because Dame currently is probably like 15 at minimum, 15, top 15 in the league.
I think he's Fringe top 10. I think he played himself back in. I think he's Fringe top 10 today.
So can you actually make the justification of moving off of a top 10 player that's currently in his prime?
Mm-hmm.
In a hopes that Scoot Henderson can probably be that.
Well, with that being said, to rebut that, the logic is in no NBA where a guy has been on the trade block, or not a guy has been on the trade block, a guy has been in the league that long, and you've gotten everything that you're going to get out of him. And at no point have we ever scoffed at a team where it's time to move on. You've had Dame. We're going into year 12. You've seen everything that you're going to see out of Dame. Not only have you seen everything that you're going to see out of Dame, you've seen everything that the Trailblazers have done to put a championship unit around Dame. It just didn't get done. So now it's okay to reboot this thing. And what I mean when I say reboot this thing, if you move off of Dame and you end up with some draft picks, if you end up with some young starts, some young players and some draft picks, and you build it like you built it with Dame, because we didn't know who Dame was when he first showed up, just like we don't know who Scoot is. You didn't know who Dame was. You didn't know who Dame was going to be. And if you look at Dame and you look at Simon, I mean, I'm not Dame and Simon. If you look at Scoot and you look at Simon, first of all, Scoot looks like he's pro ready. Do I expect him to be the rookie of the year like Dame was? No, I don't. However, I do expect him to be a damn good player. So if you're moving on with him and Simons and build that unit around those two guys, I have no problem with that. And moving off of Dame and moving him to a place where you can get some compensation and Dame can be happy. There's no reason, if you're trying to win, to hold on to him. Portland is a basketball city. If you let the people of Portland know this is who we're starting over with, Dame, we love you. This is what we did for you. We're grateful for you. They're going to build a statue of him outside the arena one day and move on. That will not be a problem.
Can I ask you a question, though?
You just did.
How did that work out for the Timberwolves in 07 when they moved off of KG?
Well,
my thing is, it took the Blazers 17 years to get a player that was in the same atmosphere as Clyde Drexler when you moved off of him. 17 years. So when you look at what happened with the Timberwolves when they moved off of KG, they had three continuous top 10 picks in a draft. They traded KG for the biggest haul in NBA history. They got Al Jefferson, Gerald Green. They got all of these pieces to start a youth movement, and it failed. So when you got to trade your best player in franchise history, or one of your best players in franchise history, in the Blazers case, the likelihood of you getting another player like that is very slim. God don't work like that. God ain't going to give you 2 top 75 players back to back like that.
Right.
And you got to trade your best player because you are a bad franchise.
Right. But with that being said, are we holding the Minnesota Timberwolves in the same category with the Portland Trailblazers?
Absolutely.
I'd like to think that the Trailblazers have a little bit more of a competent front office than the Minnesota Timberwolves, who took Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn and passed on Steph Curry. I'd like to think that the Portland Trailblazers are a little bit more confident than the Portland. I like to think that the Trailblazers are a little bit more confident than the Minnesota Timberwolves. But with that being said, the Portland Trailblazers, you guys, once again, Portland is a basketball city, and in the process of it being a basketball city, if they tell you this is who we're getting behind, we don't know what Scoot is going to turn into. You've already developed Simon, and you see what he's turning into. You see what he's turning into. Not only do you see what he's turning into, you saw what happened in the 90s when you had Drex, but you also saw what happened with Terry Porter. You saw what happened with Jerome Kersey, how you developed those guys into winners. And don't get me wrong, they lost in the NBA championship. But the fact that you guys were there, it's only one team that's going to win it. Unfortunately, it's only one team that's going to win it. But you do the best that you can to build it. Now, I understand that this is about money and this is a business, and you got to do whatever you can to keep that going. But the Portland Trailblazers know for a fact that's a basketball city. And if you let these people know this is who we're building this unit behind, I 100% believe that they'll get behind you.
For sure.
Dalton, you out there? Dalton Wall?
Yeah, I'm here. What's good, y'all?
What's up? Evian, your mic all right?
It's good?
Yes, you hot now.
What y'all got for us?
What's up, brother?
I watched the draft for a little bit until Toronto pick. We drafted Grady D. I'm just gonna say D. Our main problem was shooting, and I feel like we did address that. He was classified as the best shooter in the draft by some, but at the same time, I get a little depressed because right now, point guard situation is not good. We already know Fran VanVleet is going to leave. Gary Trent Jr., took that option. Is coming back, what made me even more depressed because he's so inconsistent. It's like, dude, it's just hurting us even more. And we got like 6 forwards, like 5 or 6 forwards now on one team.
I'm glad you brought that up, Avion. When you brought up Gary Trent, well, you talk about him being inconsistent. Are the minutes there? What kind of offense are we running there? Because it looked like there's a lot of instability there. If you look at the best teams in the game, like you look at the Golden State Warriors, right? You look at the Celtics, you look at the Miami Heat, you look at teams like that. The reason why these players flourish the way they do, because there's consistency there, whether it's the minutes, whether it's the offense, whether it's the role. Like, what's Gary Trent's role?
He was like classified as our playmaker at some point because Fred was out a couple of weeks with injuries. But it seemed like when the lights got brighter, he faded out. You know, sometimes he would go like 0 for 5, 0 for 6 in one quarter, where Nick Nurse had to take him out. Now it building tension. Now you got Gary Trent Jr. in press conferences, you know, basically throwing shade at Nick and saying like, "Hey, it ain't me, but dude, it is you." You know, all these other players are out with injuries, and you're the focal point of the offense. We're paying you all this money from Portland. You know, thinking that you're just gonna be that, you know, that second or third option, you know, and you know it's becoming frustrating. You know, you got your daddy and on the news as well throwing shots. You know, it's like, where are we going? You know, do we unload all these forwards for Dame and get our point guard and have Dame over there in Toronto? I know I'm just you know, grasping stars out of the
I
clouds
can dig
now,
that.
but,
Right. I can dig that. Sure.
yeah, but
and
it's this. I don't know what we're doing. You know,
I think one of the biggest problems that teams like Toronto have is when you like teams like Oklahoma City, teams like Toronto. One of the biggest problems they have is when they win the NBA championship or they're close. That's that teaser. So now they're expected to be there, and they make moves in haste to completely wreck their franchise. Right. So, how many more years you think Damian Lillard got at this level?
I would say like 3.
That's as far as I'm gonna go. Yep. He'll be 33 next month. I'm gonna go 3. And if you move off of a couple of those forwards, because it's probably gonna take OG, it's probably gonna take Scotty Barnes. If you bring in Damian Lillard, I mean, are you a playoff team?
I think so.
And when you say you're a playoff team, where are you in the playoffs? Are you a semifinals team? You think you're an Eastern Conference championship team? Right. See, that's what I mean. So if that's the case, you got OG in the draft, you got Scotty Barnes in the draft, right? You ended up getting Fred VanVleet in the draft, and you're probably gonna move off of him. You got Siakam in the draft. So if you've moved on from Nick Nurse, you probably got to get yourself a point guard. There is no quick. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have these kind of players and get a free agent that can push you over the top. You could definitely do that. But with that being said, the majority of your stuff, a team like Toronto, the majority of your stuff is through the draft.
Yeah.
My bad.
Can't hear you.
Dalton, what's up, Dalton? You got something for us?
What's good?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I came up here to talk about, you know, I'm a Kentucky fan, so I was going to talk about a few of the guys. A couple of them signed 2-way deals.
Yeah.
Even though the Tatum slander did almost make me want to push some Celtics propaganda. I won't do it today. But
we here for it.
I was going to ask what your all's thoughts were on Cason Wallace. It seems like a lot of people are high on him. I'm not sure about the fit in OKC, but I feel like a player like him, like it's just hard to miss on that, and he'll fit kind of wherever.
Well, I don't even want to talk about Wallace more than I want to talk about Oscar. He's the guy that I want to talk about more than anything. I'm really surprised that he ended up not getting drafted. I understand that this is a different NBA, but a guy like him, I'm having a really difficult time with the logic that he can't help an NBA team right now. And be really good on an NBA team right now. So, I mean, the National Player of the Year, and I was telling Ox this earlier in the show. I mean, we're talking about a dude in Tshiebwe. He's Kentucky's third all-time leading rebounder. He only played 2 seasons there. That's it. If you're gonna get a dude like that on your roster, I'm telling you right now, he is going to help you because you need him. So for every guy that's shooting the long ball, every guy that's handling the basketball, who's the guy diving on the floor for loose balls? Who's the guy cleaning glass? He's that guy. Who's the guy defending in the post? And he can knock down the mid-range. Whenever I watch him, I think I felt like I was looking at Ben Wallace with a jump shot. That's what I was looking at with him.
I mean, I got a lot of love for Oscar. I would never talk bad about him or anything. I think he's got some holes in his game that could really hurt him in the modern NBA. It felt like he struggled a lot dealing with high pick and roll defense. He ran into some really athletic, bigs I think it's Charles Bediako from Alabama.
Yeah,
he struggled with guys like that. I worry about him. He's 6'8", 6'9". But he does kind of have that thing I always call just having magnets in your hands. It's like he always is in the right place to get a rebound. So I mean, there might be a place for him if he can, if he really can maybe get a little more agile in space and stuff. But a guy that I liked from Kentucky, he got a lot of hate at Kentucky because he has kind of a low motor, but Jacob Toppin, Obi's baby brother.
Yep.
About 6'8" wing, probably like a 40+ inch vertical. He's got a really good mid-range game, can finish at the cup and rebound. It's just, I think his game's a little more suited for the NBA than it was at Kentucky. Just a guy that I think in transition and stuff could maybe like make a roster later on. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a world breaker, but I think you'll see him in the NBA at some point.
All right. I caught glimpses of him, and I mean the low motor thing. You got a lot of guys who have a low motor, but they still are effective. Everybody doesn't play, on 8 or 9 RPMs. But I think he isn't Toppin's brother. I think he's bigger than Obi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit taller.
Yeah, I think he's like 6'10".
What does it mean to have a low motor? Does that mean like low energy guy? You can only play him for 4 or 5 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
What does that mean by low motor?
That right there.
Well, for me, what I saw was like it takes him a while to get amped up. He's coming out, and sometimes he's not attacking like he needs to. He's just got all those athletic tools, and he's settling a lot, or he's just kind of jogging to spots. That's what I mean by it.
Yeah.
Got it. OJ, we ain't seen you for a minute, bro. What's up? How you living?
What up?
What's up, Ox? What's up, Chi? How y'all doing?
What up?
Good. How you feeling this morning? You good?
Man, everything good, man. I can't complain. But I was just gonna ask Chill, man, as a Hawks fan, man. 2 years ago, we was in the Eastern Conference Finals. We had broke Ben Simmons' heart, man. We had just broke his whole confidence.
They ended up trading him. Philly
and then,
Philly
they ended up trading him and everything. And then, we had Nate McMillan, the coach. Everything with Ryan Howe. And then now, it's like we just regressed every year from then on. You know what I'm saying? Like the defense was great with Nate McMillan. Now the defense back to being mid. The shot selection, like the offense is just being like stagnant for the most part. Everybody really just watching the ball, watching Trae Young do his thing in the pick and roll. I mean, like, what do you think should be the next step for the Hawks?
Well, first of all, you got to figure out what you're doing with John Collins. That's number one. What are we doing with John Collins? Are you trading him? Or is he a part of the offense? Because for the last 2 years, that's been the case with him. 1 minute you sign him to a long-term deal, and then the next minute he's on the trade block, and then he gets injured, which is now screwing up his game even more. Right? So he doesn't know exactly when he should be playing, when he shouldn't be playing, what position he should be playing, all of that good stuff. So that's another problem. Clint Capella plays a lot, but I was surprised that Trae didn't involve him in the offense more, because Clint Capella, being the pick and dive guy, the rim runner that he was when he was with James Harden in Houston, he should have been more of that with Trae Young. Trae Young, I think after they had gotten to the Eastern Conference Championship, I equate that to the quarterback in the NFL who kind of came out of nowhere, but then we got some tape on you, and then we started doing our homework, and now we figured out what holes you have. So Trae Young, the offense now got recognized that with Trae Young, he take a lot of bad shots.
He does.
He leaves his offense really stagnant, and because he takes a lot of bad shots, he screws them up. Losing Kevin Huerter, that really hurts you too, because that's a long ball shooter that you no longer have. Hunter always being, Gallinari. Gallinari didn't hurt more than Hunter being in and out of the lineup, because Hunter was supposed to be a guy who, I mean, coming out of college, he's a high motor, big time energy guy, big time transition player who was supposed to fit well with, and also a two-way player who was supposed to fit well with what Trae was doing, but he didn't really pan out as much as he could have. So there's a lot of questions.
That's Trae's fault. Sorry, Joe.
There's a lot of questions with the Atlanta Hawks, and I think a lot of that has to do with them going to the Eastern Conference Championship, because the light got shown on them.
Yeah, and with that being said, like, I respect Trae Young, his talent and everything, but I feel like the intangibles, like that situation where he and Nate McMillan really like brought a lot of things into question, man. Like, you really got mad at Nate McMillan because he called you out for coming late to practice. You feel me? Like, so I feel like that little small issue, like, we might get another great coach.
OJ, that's the NBA we in now. That's the NBA we in now, unfortunately. Yeah, that's the NBA we in now. Because
like Nate McMillan done played and coached in more games than Trae Young, like, probably ever will. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Nate McMillan done did a lot of shit. So like we might get another great coach and he might get rid of him like that. So I feel like, do you feel like the Hawks should trade Trae Young away? You feel like it's
I'm not ready to move.
I'm
not ready to move off of him just yet because now you got a coach in Quinn Snyder, former point guard. He was a good coach in Utah. Now you got a guy like that who I think could really enhance Trae. If this doesn't work with Trae and Quinn, I'm out. I'm out on him.
So
real quick context. Let me just to clarify for everybody. Chilltown, you're saying if this doesn't work out with Quinn, you're off of.
I'm out.
Trae Young. You're out on Trae Young.
I'm out. Gotcha. OUT. I'm out because it can't continue to just be everybody else. How many coaches are we gonna fire? We can't keep this. We can't keep firing coaches.
And you still don't want to play off ball. Sorry, Chill, but you still don't want to play off ball.
At some point, you got to look in the mirror and go, wait a minute. How am I the problem? Clearly, I'm the problem here. It's like a chick that she keep breaking up with dudes. Okay, at some point, it ain't everybody else's fault. At some point, you gotta ask
look
yourself.
In the mirror. Look in the mirror.
Content. That's why I don't like.
It can't just be everybody else all the time. At some point, wait a minute. What am I doing wrong? Because I'm clearly doing something wrong. So,
yeah, and that's why I don't like the Steph Curry comparisons when it comes to Trae Young because Steph Curry moves great off the ball. Like he's so much of a threat off the ball, you know. And Trae Young just needs the ball in his hands, and sometimes the ball being in his hands is not the best thing for the Hawks.
Not only that, OJ, but what? Steph is what 3-4 inches taller than Trae.
How tall is Trae? About 6
feet. They got Trae listed at 6'1".
Like 5?
They got Trae listed at 6'1".
What is Trae? 5'11"?
I'd be surprised if he was.
I'd be 6 feet for real.
I was about to say I'd be surprised if he was 6 feet. I think that's
okay. So maybe 2.5, 3 inches taller than Trae. Then he's still bigger than Trae though. People look at Steph like Steph is little or something. Steph isn't like a little guy. He's 6'3".
But we talking about running around in like today's NBA. Like if you had like 20 years ago. Like if we were asking him to try to run through some screens and everything, then but like now the offensive player has all the leverage when it comes to running around on the court. So like Trae Young could adapt this game to be able to run around some screens and get open on 3-point shots like Steph.
Does Trae not move it out the ball like Steph?
He doesn't as well, and he doesn't do it as much as Steph. Like a
lot I don't mind
his hands on the pick and roll. Like that's how he gets a lot of his buckets throughout the offense.
OJ, I don't mind the ball in Trae Young's hands. What I do mind is I mind him taking the shots that he's taking. If he was more effective with the basketball in his hands, I don't. If my point guard plays with the ball in his hands primarily, I don't mind that if he's effective. I.e., let's see, some of the better league guards in it, like when Russell Westbrook was doing it. Right? When Damian Lillard was doing it, guys like that, right? When Chris Paul was doing it, I have no problem with you playing with the basketball in your hands if you are a primary distributor or you're effective, as opposed to you taking bad shots and you throwing us off the loop.
Yeah.
And you throwing us off rhythm. That's my issue.
Hey, facts, bro, facts.
D. Reed, you there?
Yo.
What up?
What up, OG? What's going on?
Ain't nothing, brother. What's going on?
Man, I got a couple questions. My first question, Emoni Bates went to my team.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how you feel about him, man. How far you think we can go with him? Because I see him starting the season, averaging 20 minutes in the starting lineup for real over Isaac.
So he gets right on the floor.
What about Karras?
Hey, 6-man. That's like with his friend. We needed a wing. We needed that big wing. That's what we was missing. You know what I'm saying? That in between Darius and Donovan being, you know what I'm saying, 6'2", 6'3", right? And you got Evan and Jared being damn near 7-footers. You needed that in between play, and I feel like we got that in Emoni. But like I said, I watched him a couple of games at Memphis. You know, when he was at Memphis, it was a stacked team there. You know what I'm saying? He got injured when he played for Memphis too. So he came back. He was decent. And I feel like personally when he went over to Eastern Michigan, it was mainly as far as the coaching, it was more about putting fans in the seats as opposed to actually running, you know what I'm saying, offense. You know what I'm saying? With him, what I seen from him in Eastern Michigan, it was a lot of tough contested shots. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of shooting over defenders, shooting over double teams, a lot of ISO balls. So like I said, hopefully it translates. You know what I'm saying? I see him being a 12 to 15 point game for, you know what I'm saying, score in the starting lineup with the talent that's around him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like all that shot creation ain't gonna be needed for him. I feel like with him in the starting lineup, you're gonna see a lot of transition, a lot of up and down, because we got athletes at every position. You know what I'm saying?
What about him though, D? What kind of athlete is Emoni? Now, when on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 5 being average, 10 being elite, what kind of athlete do you think he is?
I say 5'6" from what I've seen personally.
So he's an average athlete, right? So he's not gonna. So he's probably not gonna wow you in transition in terms of speeding up the game. So in terms of a scorer, is he buckets? When I say buckets is I'm calling his number and I can get something from him when we get in, not necessarily in the meat and potatoes of the game. Let's say we in the second quarter and we need to get going. Can I call his number?
I feel like you could. I feel like his size alone gives him, you know what I'm saying, the advantage. He's 6'9", 6'10". You don't see that many wings in the league as far as on the wing. And then when you look at all the switching that a lot of teams do, I feel like he's gonna find himself in a lot of mismatches. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like he could do something. That's what I'm hoping.
So he can help. So he can help you. I don't concern myself too much with a guy bouncing around like he went from this school to this school, and the off the court stuff. Don't get me wrong. I've always felt like, listen, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So you definitely got to pay attention to that. That's not something that you can just brush away, because that could very well come back to bite you. However, I'm concerned more with his game, and with a league like Eastern Michigan, right? This is the dude in Emoni Bates who came out of high school as one of the best players in the country. I would expect him to tear up the MAC. And when I say tear up the MAC, I expected him to be the player of the year in that league, being in the top 10 in the country in scoring. I expected him to light that league up, and he didn't do that. And I wonder why. And it wasn't because he got held back. That's why he went there. They turned him loose at Eastern Michigan. So is his game going to translate to the pro level? That's the question that I have about him.
That's, like I said, that's what I'm hoping. Like my ideal, the idea I got in my head is 12 to 15 points, 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying, per night. Right. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him become a better rebounder. He has the not the athleticism, but he has the wingspan, you know what I'm saying, to become at least an average defender. And when you got the Twin Towers behind you, you know what I'm saying, all you need to be is decent on defense. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. That's the thought I had in my head.
All right, I'll be interested to see what happens with him.
Y'all can hear me. Let me know if my mic is good money.
You good? You good?
Okay, cool. I wanted just to add on just a little bit, and then after that, I just want to highlight some of the key points that I saw in the draft. If y'all don't mind, just to add on to Emoni Bates. I'm with Chill. I gotta wait and see. To be honest with you, I think the potential is there, but to start him off rip, that is going to be bad business. I think the league is going to destroy if he starts. I understand what you mean. Yeah, you got a good backline defense, so you kind of get away with it. But then you're going to have 3 guys that can't guard at the perimeter. And you know what I mean?
Maybe starting was the wrong word, but at least 20 minutes a night, whether it's starting off the bench.
No, I get your point. I would try to ease him in and give him some minutes just to give him some confidence to see what he could do and see how he could shake in the league. I think honestly, I think the potential is there for him to be that bucket guy that Chill's talking about, where we just need a bucket and we need to get, and you can get it any way. Because I think he has the capabilities in small spaces to get a shot off. He's not quick, but he's crafty. He has enough counter moves that he can get away with certain shots. Now, the thing that does kind of not help him is that he doesn't have long arms like that. So his shot is kind of a low set shot. It doesn't take a while to load up. He does have a quick kind of load up, so it's not that bad. The athleticism he could kind of work on. Quick twitch, plyometric. I'm using the wrong word.
Plyometrics is what you're saying.
Right. There you go. So that can increase a little bit of his fast twitch muscles and work on that. And as you get older and get into your grown man body, you're gonna develop a little bit more athleticism. You're gonna develop, you know what I mean? You're gonna add some meat to the bone. So you're gonna be able to pick up the pace. It's just does he have the mental fortitude to deal with whatever journey he's about to go through? Because I think it's gonna be a journey for him. I don't think Cleveland's going to give it to him like that, especially going to be going against a Okoro that wants to prove himself, and LeVert still feels like, he should be technically starting in this league. I think LeVert kind of got the bad end of the stick with Brooklyn, and I think he's kind of being pegged as this, can he start? Can he be a sixth man? I think the Brooklyn situation kind of hindered his growth and his maturity.
I love, to be honest with you, context really quickly and keep going, but I love Karis LeVert as a rotation guy. I think he could be one of the best rotation guys in the game.
100%.
6 man of the year.
I love him as a rotation guy. Love
100%. 100%. But I think the thing about it is that you have to give him run. You can't take him in, pull him out, take him in, pull him out, take him in. The thing about it is that it's a lot of things, and Ox disagrees, but he's a rhythm player. Right. You know what I mean? The more he touches the ball, the more, you know what I mean? The more he gets into the flow of the offense, I think he's able to. And to be fair, there are some guys that you could they have that mental fortitude that you can take them off for 3 minutes, put them back in, and they don't miss a beat. But there are some guys where they kind of need to touch the ball. They need to, you know what I mean, go through the motions and kind of get into the groove of things. Another key thing that I wanted to point out was your Orlando Magic. Jesus Christ.
Don't sleep, context. Watch out. Watch out, context.
No.
Watch out.
Okay. So walk me through the process of the draft. What was your opinion on their draft picks?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, all right. If I'm not mistaken, they ended up with Howard,
Anthony Black. And Jet Howard.
They did end up with Anthony Black. So now that tells me that Cole Anthony is on the clock. That's what that tells me. Tells me that Cole Anthony is on the clock, and
over Jalen Suggs, really?
Yeah, Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs are both on the clock. Like what are we in? We're going into year 3 with Jalen Suggs now. What have we found out from Jalen Suggs? Like, we talking way more about Scotty Barnes than we are about Jalen Suggs. Way more.
That's fair.
Both of these teams are very similar. They both didn't make the playoffs last year, right? So with that being said, we still have to figure out what the lead guard is. This kid, Anthony Black, has shown, number one, he played the most minutes in the SEC. So he's durable. He does not come out the game. So he's durable. Now, his ability to handle the basketball, make the correct decision, that's in question. And the reason why it's in question, because he's young. It's not because he can't play. It's because he's young. His game may adapt really quickly to the pro game. But with these young guys that they got, with Franz, with Bo, with Paolo, with Markelle Fultz, right? They building something down there in Orlando. They are definitely on to something in Orlando, and I like what they're doing down there.
So I could see everybody else. Now here's the thing. Now I think if Jet Howard improves on his foot speed and his lateral quick twitch movements, I think it's gonna work out. I can see the Jet Howard thing. I'm a little confused with Anthony Black, and I agree with you, Chill. At this point, they're going to have to look at their guards because they're very heavy in guards and they're very heavy in forwards. So I think it's going to be a thing where they're going to have to flesh out that roster. They're going to have to give away some guys so that way they can give, because that's what Toronto kind of fell in. Like you said, Toronto fell into that mode where they have a lot of guards and a lot of forwards, and you have too much redundancy. So the players, they get inconsistent minutes, they get inconsistent roles, right? Just like you pointed out with Gary Trent. He's very, his role kind of changed from time and time again. Right. So that's why I have a little pushback with you in terms of Anthony Black. I can see the game translate, but with you not having a great jump shot, Paolo's developing his jump shot, Wagner's developing his jump shot, Markelle Fultz is developing. They are pretty much a lot of rim running and shot creation, kind of midi kind of guys. You get what I mean? So I know Jet Howard can space the floor out for them, but they don't have too much floor spacers. So to me, or you just guys are going to be an athletic team, run the floor, things of that nature. Like, what is the identity going to be of this team? So that's one thing I wanted to.
I think Black. Go ahead. I think Black. I think he led the SEC in assists, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Fair. I think he led the SEC in assists, and very much like college. they start recruiting after your sophomore year. If you got dudes that been playing college, sophomore, junior year, that's when they start bringing in other people because you're probably on your way out. Well, this is going to be year 3 for Suggs. I think we're going into year 4 with Cole Anthony. So the logic is these guys have to start translating into something, or we're going to move on with this guy. I don't see the Orlando Magic holding on to – I don't see the Black, Fultz, Anthony Cole. I don't see them being Suggs. I don't see them being that guard heavy. What they're going to do is they're going to – with drafting Anthony Black, we have to – now the timeline is moved up. The timeline is moved up with guys like Anthony Cole because they see what teams like the Trailblazers is doing with Anthony Simons and developing him. They see what Minnesota is doing with Anthony Edwards and developing him. Yo, these dudes need to turn into something. And if they not, we got to move off of them.
We got to pack you up.
What we doing?
We got to pack you up.
Hey, OG, can I ask you something real quick, OG? Because I heard y'all talk about the Celtics earlier. And as far as the Marcus Smart trade, I didn't like it. Because I feel like the Celtics, they got rid of a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the equivalent of Denver getting rid of Aaron Gordon or the Bulls, you know what I'm saying, as good as they were or as bad as they was. That's like this. I understand, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, he lagged out. Oh, there you
My
go.
bad. No, yeah, I feel like the Bulls getting rid of Alex Caruso, a player like that. When I look at what they got back in Kristaps, I understand the philosophy as far as putting up more threes at the 5 position and all that. But when you look at what Chill said probably like a week ago, Joe Mazzulla, he on a short leash. He got Sam Cassell right there. So I feel like if the Celtics start off, you know what I'm saying, bad, or Joe Mazzulla end up getting fired because they're not playing up to par, Sam Cassell not coaching the same way as him, shooting all them threes.
No,
and
he's not.
You got rid of a great basketball player. Like Marcus Smart was the glue to that team. You know what I'm saying? He was the player on the team that can get you a clutch block, a clutch steal, a clutch rebound, offensive or defensive, a clutch 3, a great pass. You know what I'm saying? We saw all that in the playoffs the year before last when they made it to the finals. We seen a pass to Jason Tatum for a game-winning layup against the Celtics. We seen a clutch. You know what I'm saying? So, like when you get rid of a player like that, like I said, what they got back in Kristaps is cool. A 7-footer, a big that can shoot, play in the post. That's cool. But like I told you before the season ended, I feel like the Celtics had the ideal roster that you wanted to have in order to compete for a championship.
Don't you think Derek White could kind of fill in?
That's my thing. That's my thing.
They have good basketball players. You know what I'm saying? They have a couple of those. And like I said, the roster they had before they made this trade, it was ideal in competing for a championship. The problem the Celtics had is they 2 best players. Y'all need to get better in the offseason. Jason
here's
Tatum,
my thing.
You use the mid-range.
I'm gonna say this. I want to just give. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm gonna give just a little pushback because you got to also understand this was a move to show to the 2 best players. It's time for yes, because you have to remember Marcus Smart was there before them, and he established a culture already. So his voice, to be fair, was the loudest. It was louder than Joe Mazzulla. It was loudest, you know what I mean? Like it was probably on par with Udoka as far as having that voice. So not only that, those points where we was watching Marcus Smart take post-ups. I'm not gonna be pounding on Marcus Smart to post up the ball when I have a 6'8", 6'9" demigod that should be able to be doing that as well. So instead of having Marcus Smart post up the ball, Jason Tatum, you're gonna post up a little guy. Jaylen Brown, you're gonna post up a little guy. It's on you guys. I need Jason Tatum to be the alpha. I don't need Marcus Smart to be the heart and soul of the team. I need my best players to be the heart and the soul of the team. You need to develop those dogs. And I think Marcus Smart, because they respected Marcus Smart so much, it took away from their development. So now they're putting their feet to the fire. KP is not, he's going to know his lane. KP is going to know his lane. He's not going to bump heads. Marcus Smart would have bumped heads with Jason Tatum, say, yo, I need more shots. And the last thing we needed from Boston was, don't get me wrong, Marcus Smart is a great basketball.
I don't think
Me neither. No, I don't think that was the. I don't.
Because you got to
more shots
understand
issue. I don't think that was the problem.
Like when the Celtics went on that run in the middle of the season, it was Marcus Smart that called that players meeting. Like, hey, yo, Jason, Jalen, y'all, let's go, let's pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
he was asking for them to move the ball, though.
Well,
he was
fellas,
asking
real quick. I had to cut into it, but we'll say this though, context. I don't think it was Marcus Smart saying he needs more shots, as opposed to him saying that they don't have to take such tough shots. They got to depend on the rest of the squad. But
that's fair. That's fair.
We do got to move on. It's getting about that time, and plus we do got some more super chats I got to get to. I appreciate you fellas for pulling up.
Salute.
Wednesday though.
You already know. Salute. You already know. Like the
context,
beam, man.
My
like
man. I know
beam.
what you do. You dudes know where to find me at. 100. 100. Yeah.
Right.
I like it.
Yeah. Good debate. Good talk.
I like that.
Let's get through some of these super chats. I believe that we might be actually doing emergency, for lack of better terms.
That's what I heard.
An emergency panel episode after this. So y'all check y'all notifications, man. It might be going down. I'm not sure. I got a couple text messages. The first couple text messages was like, "Hey, y'all, move it along." You know, we like to spend time with the viewers, though. We like to go over a little bit, so they be honest. But let's get to the super chats. My man, Sports PSP wants to know about this start bench cut, Chilltown. Shaq, Tim Duncan, and Hakeem.
Start Timmy, bench. Start Timmy, bench Hakeem, cut the Diesel.
Okay. That's a hard one for me. I just prefer not.
Don't think because I said it that it don't mean that was hard, because it wasn't that easy. No, it wasn't.
Complete the fifth. Reggie the Tree says, "What up, fellas? Happy Saturday. Thanks for what y'all do. 2 questions. Start bench cut Zach Randolph, Kenyon Martin, and Rashard Lewis. Start bench cut John Lucas, Terry Porter, and Calvin Murphy."
Now this is a lot. This is definitely less difficult than the other one. So I'm starting Zebo, first name 20, last name 10. I'm starting him. Now we get to between Kenyon Martin and Rashard Lewis. Rashard Lewis, the long ball shooter, right? One of the better scorers in the game during his time. Kenyon Martin was an all-star too. So if I had to choose between the two of them, I'm going to bench Kenyon Martin and I'm going to cut Rashard Lewis. Now these three down here, Terry Porter was nice. He wasn't Calvin Murphy nice though. John Lucas is out. I'm starting Calvin Murray. I'm benching Terry Porter, and John Lucas is out.
I was a big Terry Porter fan as I was going back watching. I obviously don't remember Terry Porter when I was coming up, but went back and I like Terry Porter a lot.
Yep.
David Astilo, another start bench cut. Monster Mash, Glenn Rice, and Grandmama.
That's easy for me. I'm starting Glenn Rice, benching Grandmama, cutting Monster Man.
Going the same way. Oh, Glenn Rice was so nice, man.
Super nice, Big Ox.
Glenn Rice was nasty. Man.
What?
Oh, I wish Glenn Rice could play today.
Oh, he would be awesome in today's game, Big Ox. You serious right now?
Oh, these cats would be in trouble.
Damn.
Trouble, Chilltown. Drip Bellis with the higher or lower question. So higher or lower, 3.5 MVPs between Scoot, Wemby, and Ant.
See, man, the league MVP.
You're talking about Anthony Edwards, right?
Yeah, he's talking about Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
The league MVP is so tricky, man, because you also need a lot of stuff to go your way. Wemby, on the other hand, if Wemby is going to be a ways away from winning league MVP, I think Anthony Edwards is going to be a top 5 player at some point. Scoot, I'm not sure that he's going to be that good, but I'd like to see him be that good. With that being said, I'm going to go on the under between those three.
I think that's fair.
Yep, I'm going to go on the.
Let's see. Couple more super chats, y'all. Let me see. Right here from Bruno Montiero. Did you guys see Lowe and KD debating on Twitter Space yesterday? KD joined because Lowe had him outside his top 5.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. We're gonna get and like Big Ox just mentioned, we're gonna get into that in about another 20 minutes or so. Yeah, we're gonna have another discussion about that.
From AB Ox, if you went to WNBA, shout out Shakira Austin. Shout out Shakira Austin on the Mystics. Coming off winning a ring overseas. It's her second year in the WNBA. All-team rookie last year as well. Shakira Austin is nice. Chip.
She nice?
Nice. I really like Shakira Austin.
She played for the Washington Mystics? All right, so I got to start watching the Washington Mystics.
That's been my squad since Elena Delle Donne. You know, Elena Delle Donne was, you know,
she's nice too. Fan. I dig her too. Yeah,
her story is crazy too. You know, she stayed home to go to college around home because her sister has special needs. She wanted to stay around the house, and she could have went to UConn, that powerhouse, but she was
going there.
Yeah, she was on the way.
Yeah,
she stayed home, man. That was admirable from her. I'm a big Elena Delle Donne fan. Yeah, Shakira Austin, man. Yeah, she's nice. Jackson Williams. What do you think the ceiling for Brandon Miller could be?
I think he could be an all-star. I think at some point he could be an all-star. I think he's a really good building piece for what they're doing in Charlotte. So in terms of him being a franchise player, I think that LaMelo is the franchise player. I think he's a piece to what they're doing. But in terms of a ceiling, I think he could be. I definitely think he could be an all-star. Definitely believe that he can be an all-star. I don't want to overrate him and be like, yo, he can be an all-time great. Nah, I'm not going to gas you and do that. No, I'm not.
Oh, real quick, Showtime, I want to ask you something because it came up. Sam Cassell and Joe Mazzulla. Does Joe Mazzulla feel the heat? Does he feel the heat on the back of his neck? Like, I know Sam Cassell right next to me. Is he getting hot?
If he doesn't, he does now. If he didn't before, he does now. And if he doesn't, he's probably going to get canned because he knows for a fact that the way he played last year, he can't keep playing like that. He know that.
Yeah, so is it good for him to know that he has Sam Cassell? Like, does that put a little heat on him? Like, you know, light a fire under his ass and make him. Does it bring the best out of him, or is that too much pressure for him?
I don't think it's too much pressure for him. In fact, with this team, this is a win now team, so they have to be better because if they're not, he's going to get canned. This is why I think that if they start the season the way I think they're going to start it. If not the way I think they're going to start it, but if they start the season where we get to like January and they barely at 500, he's out. So he definitely feels that heat from Sam Cassell. Now, of course, Big Ox, they're going to say all the right things. Yo, this is your team, and yo, I'm going to do what you say. Meanwhile, Sam Cassell is definitely giving them the heave-ho.
Definitely. King Morris 10. Should the NBA draft from the G League? Would that help with development?
Is it scoop from the G League?
Yeah, they already do scoop from draft from the G League. So.
And in fact, I don't think, to be honest with you, King, I don't think that they involved the G League enough.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they involved the G League nearly enough. People think that the G League is a demotion where this is where your developmental players, that's what it's the G League, the developmental league. That's where you're developing your players to be good. So instead of draft or instead of signing this guy to a, I don't know, 4-year deal for $130 million, what about the dude that you drafted that you got stashed in the G League that you developing? How's he turning out?
Right.
What's going on with this guy? Why aren't you developing him into that? I don't get that. I don't understand why they don't utilize the G League more. I don't.
The GOAT Angie Carr, chill. Can an argument be made for NBA players, specifically the superstars, teaming up, be that they've always done that in their careers, so it's the norm for them, AAU, high school, college?
Especially in today's game, because a lot of these guys played together in AAU, in high school, and in college. So it's definitely more prevalent for them to do it today than they did 25 years ago. Sure, 100% they can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick. Hey, Barn Burner, you said you had a quick one. We got time for one quick question.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, man. So I was wondering, I had two quick questions, man. Did y'all see Stevie Clark coming out of high school?
No.
Man, he was cold from the OKC area, man. 36, 5 and 7, 5 steals a game. Yeah, he had him a little.
Who's he play for now, Stevie Clark?
I think he's overseas, man. I forgot the team.
Okay.
Okay.
But then the other question was, do you think KD? Do you think he'd be better in a small market? Because
he was better in a small market.
He was
great in OKC.
Yeah,
he was great in OKC. He was the one who left.
Yeah, and the city loved him until he.
Yes, he was the one who bounced. Yes, KD was fantastic in Oklahoma City.
He
was the one who left there.
Here and all that, man. It was busy.
They loved him down there in Oklahoma City. He was the one who told Paul George when Paul George signed with Oklahoma City, "You're gonna love it down there."
That's what I'm saying.
They loved him down there. Yes.
The only reason why he got hate is because we got rid of Serge Ibaka to clear up cap space so we can get KD.
Pay him.
And because we thought he was gonna sign back.
Yeah, and
that's crazy.
Hey,
all right, Bar Burner. Got some questions.
Good to talk to you, brother.
It's all good. You too. From the GOAT Angie Carr, real quick. Hold on one second, Angie Carr. Chill. Is KD better in a small market because of the lack of media pressure?
For that reason, right there, Big Ox. And they've admitted that they protected him more than they did in other media markets. So with that being said, a guy like KD, he was great in Oklahoma City. He was great there, and they were building that unit around him.
From the GOAT Angie Carr, now chill. Let's not give the Trailblazers so much credit. Don't forget, Portland dropped the biggest ball in NBA history with that Sam Bowie pick.
Let's remember, they already had a 2-guard at the time, and he turned out pretty good. That's not to say that Jay, we know who Jay was, but it was a big man era, and they already had a 2-guard at that time. So,
facts. Lonnie Williams, chill. I think OKC has too many young guys. Josh Giddey, Chet, both Jalen's, Jang, Trey Man, and now Wallace. And we can't forget about Shea. How are they going to develop them?
The way that they've been developing them, exactly the way that they've been developing them. They're on the doorstep of making the playoffs. So you had a guy in Jalen Williams who was, I think he finished second or third in Rookie of the Year this year. Shea, first team All NBA. Chet's gonna be Chet. The jury's still out on what Chet's gonna be. But with that being said, the way that they're developing these guys, plus with all of the draft picks that they had, what do you expect? That's how they were going to get these guys, because Oklahoma City isn't that kind of market where you're going to get free agents to come to Oklahoma City. So you got to have a lot of young guys, and these guys are really good trade pieces too. So if you're going to ultimately move off one of them to try to get a star, you could do that.
Right. From FIFA Boy, Bob and Chill, what's the best way to cure a hangover headache? Need this for tomorrow.
Best way to cure a hangover headache is to not get there. How about that?
Drink water.
Yeah, hydrate yourself. That's what happens when you drink too much. You dehydrate yourself. That's why your hair hurts.
Or actually, what Ken has this for you. So start binge cut: apple juice, orange juice, or pineapple juice.
Okay, don't ever feed me pineapple juice. I'll throw up. So pineapple juice is out. So orange juice I'm starting, apple juice I'm benching, pineapple juice I'm cutting.
Yeah, FIFA Boy. Try some orange juice instead of the tequila.
Mm-hmm.
Have a tequila orange. Hold the tequila. All right. Well, that's the end of our super chats. We had a bunch of guys come up. We appreciate y'all. I know it's a couple of y'all that I didn't get to in the lobby, but y'all please pull up on Wednesday, and we'll be happy to spend some time with y'all. Chilltown, I'll see you in about 20 minutes, I believe.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for confirmation on my end. Mm-hmm. But hey, we'll be back. Y'all tune into the panel. It's going to be a great episode.
Come check us out, y'all. Don't drink and drive. Love yourself. Put a suit on. Take it light, but take it.
All right, y'all.
Mm-hmm.